Hi, today we're going to talk a little bit about DRA, which stands for Diastasis Recti. If you've ever been told you have a diastasis or you're not sure, what we're talking about is the line of tissue that's between your abdominal muscles. So what maybe you don't know is that with every pregnancy, every woman has a DRA, that as your core expands to make room for growing baby, that line expands as well. So you get this separation of your abdominal wall. But for some women, it goes away after pregnancy. For some women, it lingers. So the question is, why does it linger, or why after multiple babies do we start to see it more commonly? Other than, again, that tissue now has gone through tissue change multiple times. But there's other things that can contribute to that diastasis not fully closing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So those three things include diaphragm, ribs, and low back. So your diaphragm. The other thing, other than your abdominal wall separating, your diaphragm, which is your primary breathing muscle, it gets pushed up into that rib cage. As that diaphragm gets pushed up, our breathing becomes more shallow. Again, we have to breathe from those top muscles because there's not a lot of room for that diaphragm to expand when baby's in the way. Sometimes though, again, after baby leaves, we've now developed patterns and habits over those months of being pregnant that women continue to have this shallow breathing pattern. When that happens, we're not using that core, or we're not coordinating our breathing muscles with our pelvic floor with our core. So sometimes, again, that tightness stays. The second thing we talk about is that rib angle. So again, as baby grows, our ribs widen as well to make room for baby. As that rib expansion happens, again, the oblique muscles, the muscles that hold those ribs down and in, those muscles, again, they expand and then they don't fire the same way they used to. So another thing we want to address is, what does that rib angle look like, and how can we retrain the body to pull those ribs back down and in? Finally, your low back. So again, as baby grows, our body compensates, we get tight in our low back. These muscles have to fire more to support that extra growth and weight in the front. Again, now baby has come and gone, but habits happen, and your body gets used to holding that posture. So again, a lot of times women will end up with excess lordosis, or this extra curve in their low back. And now again, we're not using our abdominal muscles to hold us in good posture, but rather kind of hanging on the ligaments in the front of our hips and relying on that tension in our low back. So again, if you want to fix that diastasis after baby has come and gone, hopefully growing and playing and having lots of fun, it's not just about doing crunches, sit-ups, addressing your abdominal muscles. There's a lot more to it. So to address it from a more holistic standpoint, I'm going to show you, again, 3 techniques addressing each of these 3 that'll help you kind of get you on your way. So first thing, we talk about that diaphragm. So instead of this shallow breathing, using all these upper respiratory muscles, we want to get that diaphragm, that primary breathing muscle, to expand. What we're looking for is that as you breathe, you should get expansion of that lower rib cage of your abdominal wall and your low back. So we call this like 360 breathing. So as I breathe, so again, if you keep your hands on the ribs, you should feel that expansion going out from all different angles and then back down as you breathe out. And as that happens, now again, you get that muscle to expand down low. You're not relying on that shallow upper rib breathing. And then the second thing, again, how do we get those upper ribs to come back down and in? So again, this rib flare, this open ribs, what we want to do is, again, get your oblique muscles, those internal obliques, to turn on, pulling that rib down and in. A great way to do it, grabbing something with a little bit of weight, holding it up overhead. Again, I'm going to brace through my core. What does that look like? I'm going to pull down and in at my ribs. I'm going to pull up and in at my hip bones. So now I've created this tension in my core. So now as I add a little bit of weight, I'm just going to slowly let my arms come down, but focusing on keeping those ribs down and in. So again, I don't want to let my body flare, right? But I'm going to keep those ribs down and in as I'm adding a little bit of a load. Okay, again, keeping it in a comfortable range where you're able to maintain focus and breath. Okay, and then finally, looking at that back tightness, we need to work on stretching. If your back has been in this posture for a long period of time, you can work on core training, but if those muscles are tight, it's going to be hard to find that normal length through the spine. So to get a nice good stretch through these low back muscles, what I like to do, find something to hold onto. It can be the kitchen sink, it can be the rail of the stairs. But I'm just going to hold on, I'm going to sit back and just ease in to a nice gentle rounded low back stretch. And then while I'm here, I can do some of those 360 breaths and see if I can feel that low back expand as well. Again, hanging out here for a minute or two, maybe 5 to 10 nice deep breaths, and then coming out of it when you need a break. Again, those 3 things won't fix the diastasis fully, but it'll get you a lot farther along the way than just doing core work. If you want to learn more, you can give us a call or check out some of our other videos.